Welcome to the OTP podcast, where we bring you uncensored and unfiltered football chat. I'm your host, O or OJ, joined by my co-host, Chinny. How you feeling, Chinny?
It's been a good weekend, bro.
For you.
It's been a good week.
I'm upset, man. I can't lie. Especially after last week's fixture. We know how we played well, 10 men, 9 men, and then to score an own goal like that, and how to, it's still hurting. And then I got Spurs fans just doing the most right now, bro. Like the most right now, because obviously the replay and whatnot, and then you've got them talking about because of this game, and it was another big decision that I felt the referees let us down. And I feel like now it's like, oh, do you want to replay now? Oh, do you want to replay? I knew Klopp was like, the funny thing is, all the fans, Klopp, Liverpool never asked for replay. I said, you guys don't know Klopp. Klopp wants everything. He don't care. He's selfish. He's a selfish lover. And then everyone had to eat their words. So, but yeah.
It's been a hard one still. It's been a good weekend for us. It's not been a great weekend for you. But I did tell you about the Brighton weren't going to come out and play the same. But we'll get onto that later. We'll start with a team that's neither of our favourites. It's one of my favourites to talk about, but not this week, to be fair. United leave it late with McTominay at the double. Bro, my heart. You see, I was watching this game, sitting in my living room, just watching it. And I'm just enjoying. Like, United are playing piss poor. They took the star boy Rashford off when they're 1-0 down, chasing a goal. And I'm thinking, yeah. This is what I want to see. Losses on the bounce. It was all making sense until it wasn't, bro. Until it wasn't. And our guy Onana, he made another blunder. If only we had Mr. Y on today.
Mr. Y is not here, so I'm not even gonna even. Do you know what's crazy? I'm with you on that. I feel like I was watching the game and I was like, yes, United suck. They don't. Did you not realize that they kept saying like, oh, if Rashford was on, then he would have. Bro, he took him off because he stunk, bro. Like this.
He's been stinking. What? He's got 8 league games, 1 goal, 1 assist. Bro. So this Rashford guy, Havertz, 8 league games, 1 goal, 1 assist. It's either they both stink or none of them stink.
Exactly. It's different strokes for different folks. But I watched the game and I thought Brentford, wow, they're the team, that they're serious contenders. After watching that little clip of Ivan Toney behind closed doors, I was like, okay, when he comes back, he's gonna hit and whatnot. Watching the game, I said, yeah, this is cold. They're playing well, whatever. And then you just saw they just ran out of steam. They were tired. They were just making fouls. They played well to get the first goal. They were dominating. They were playing well. And then I feel like, yeah, they got tired. And then it was like lazy tackling. It was just, I'll just take the yellow card. There's only 10 minutes left. I'll take the yellow card. And then they switched off. And I saw United fans saying that McTominay's goal was Zidane-esque. I said, oh, you guys are talking about Zizi Zaza. Oh, come on. Like, United fans are so gassed, bro.
It's mad. And obviously they're covering the holes. But that stuff isn't being filled properly. And I mean, for Ten Hag, it's good that they got obviously they're going to have the international break now. They have their defenders coming back from injury. But for me, it doesn't really change much. Like, I watched it and their defense don't actually do that bad of a job for the system that they play in. They're not the best of defenders, but they don't actually make the team worse. They don't make it better, but they don't make it worse. Like, their midfield is so unbalanced with Casemiro, who just can get run through from any team that plays 2 runners in the middle of a pitch or 2 players that have legs. Mount is not a player on a double pivot. And in that team, I'm not even sure if he's much of an 8. Like, he doesn't really impact the game going forward. definitely
There's a
doesn't
lot of
impact.
soul in that team, innit? Like, I don't know where he fits.
Bruno's playing on the right. He's playing in the middle. He's just playing wherever he wants to play and trying to do the spray thing. But it doesn't work all the time. When teams come and decide to have a low block, and Brentford didn't even have a low block and they couldn't really get him behind. But Bruno's been stinking up the place for a few weeks now.
Especially when you're trying to spread the ball and you've got someone like Anthony who likes to come in. Like, he's not really a out and out wide. He's not a right winger. He's
Anthony's first game back in it, so he came back. He came off the bench, but he didn't really do much. United really stink. Rashford is really stinking up the place right now.
And I even saw in that game, I saw Amrabat ended up being like a left back. And then playing like an inverted where he just stayed in the middle, only defending, he went left back. And I was like, oh, straight. I mean, it paid off in the end, and it's good going into international break, but a lot of questions still ain't being answered for me. Like, they were lucky that Brentford ran out of steam, because if Brentford was able to bring Ivan Toney on or something, or they've lost another big player so as well. So I feel if they had the opportunity to bring on somebody who, like, for me, is a game changer, they brought on subs that were just going to come in and equally do the same job, but they didn't get to give you more of the same, because they ended up just defending, and then that gave United a chance. Like, look how late they scored their goals, and congratulations to them, I guess, being a neutral, but no questions have been answered. I'm still asking the same questions I asked last year. I'm asking the same questions I asked to start the season. Same questions I asked in last, a few weeks ago.
There's no balance to the team. It's like there's no squad cohesion, even though he has them on the training ground every day. Yes, they have the defensive injuries to basically their whole back line.
But they play better with Evans and Maguire. Like, so I don't know. But I something, I think a point that I'm not sure if it was yourself, Mr. Wiles, coach, that said about it just slipped my brain, literally. It was a point you guys made on the last show regarding United spending that money on a new striker when they should have prioritized elsewhere. And that game just shows you the games are won in midfield. And I think, other than Liverpool, we're the only exception right now, because our firepower is that good, where the game needs to be won in midfield. And that's the point where they're most unbalanced. Like, they've got centre backs, like you said, they can do the job, but
their midfield is so like basic in it. It's just basic. Like, there's nothing to it. Yeah, they've got the names. Like, Bruno is a household name. Casemiro, household name. Mount, not a household name, but everyone knows what who he is and stuff. But Bruno's best as a 10. He doesn't really need any responsibility going backwards or tracking. It's best when he's in front of goal. He can pick out the man over the top. He can take long shots. He can arrive in the box and score them goals. And right now he's being asked to do things that he's not comfortable with doing. Mount, I haven't quite worked out his best role, I'm not going to lie. Is he an 8? Is he a 10? Is he kind of a left winger, inverted kind of?
I was gonna say, mark my words, he's gonna be pushed out wide too.
I don't really know what his best role is. And Casemiro's time is up. There's no balance. Like, they can go and play Palace, and Palace, who haven't got the household names but got a certain cohesion in the middle or a certain way of running and stuff, it just makes them look like they're the same, like they're equal, and that's not good enough. Like, when I play United as an Arsenal fan and I see their midfield, straight away I'm thinking my team are about to run all over you lot. Whether we beat you or not is another thing if we put our chances, but we're going to run all over you in the middle of the pitch.
Well, even saying that, I think I don't like Man United's one of the clubs that I think, I'm like, okay, I play these teams, the midfield's going to be a midfield battle. I still think our midfield, without a natural 6, is running rings around their midfield. That would be obviously come back and strike me if the game goes differently, but that to me is not a game I think, okay, this midfield battle is going to dominate, because they've got a 6 that's going to dominate.
They're physical, scary in any way.
The ball around. Yeah,
they're not scary. And if you have any kind of work ethic or legs, athleticism in the middle, they're going to have a problem, because none of their players actually want to track back. And the one that does want to track back doesn't have the legs to do it anymore. So I don't feel like their balance is right. Obviously, their defensive problems are a bit mad. Onana hasn't settled well. And when I'm like judging Onana, obviously we spoke a lot about him and the mistakes that he's made. We spoke about black goalkeepers not really being not really being it.
It's a shame. It's a thing, though, isn't it? It's a shame. It's a shame. It's a thing.
No black guy wants to stand in front of the ball and get licked at them.
In the cold, imagine the cold as well. You know, just standing.
When I was younger, yeah, you know, in your primary school, and you like to fly around and jump around. I used to like that. Yeah, I got my first pair of gloves, some Fabian Barthez joints. Got my first pair of gloves. I like jumping around. Then I realized how hard I can kick the ball, and I was like, you know what? I don't really want that coming at me. So black men don't really do this.
And the goals got bigger and bigger with age.
You know, outfield players, our black outfield players don't even really do this heading thing. Never mind.
Eyes closed.
Never mind the goalkeeping thing, innit? Like centre backs, just about. But you see, when the ball's around here, it's not really the one, innit? We like it down here on the feet. So, but Onana's doing, I don't know what he's doing, but he ain't really doing much. And he's made countless errors. It's only been, 8 league games? There's not really much to say about that. Like, I can compare it to someone like Vicario, Tottenham's keeper, for example. He's come in, foreign club. To be fair, he's not a household name. No one's really spoke about him, mentioned before they bought him. He's come in, and the best thing that you can say about him is that there's nothing to say. Like, he's just come in. He hasn't been doing some wild stuff. Tottenham are playing out from the back as well. Just like
with his feet playing the back.
So he's playing as well. So there's no excuse as to why Onana's making all these crazy mistakes and just losing his head kind of thing, like just losing concentration. And Tottenham's goalkeeper can play out, no mistakes, just doing what he does.
They from like 40 M's.
Onana?
No. How much Tottenham pay for him?
First keeper, I actually don't know. You know?
He went under the radar for me. I didn't know much about him, but I generally the first game is when I saw OKC shaky. There was some moments, but ever since then, he's been a very good goalkeeper.
Yeah, he's just a calm goalkeeper. Like, he's just calm. He doesn't do anything stupid. He doesn't do anything great. He's just calm.
Yeah, Onana, that's what you want. You don't need spectacular. You just need
Onana. He's done the stupid stuff, but I haven't seen anything great yet. It's not like they're benefiting off the things that he's good at, if you get me.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be different if he was pinging the ball over the top and getting an assist for Rashford, but then at the same time making a mistake. Then you're like, okay, little balancing itself out.
He's got more memes than clean sheets.
Yeah. Yeah, like he ain't doing nothing. He's just EastEnders, like Patrick Truman in the like, he's just doing the madness. So,
what about Brentford? How do you take their performance?
They're missing a striker. Like, their team is a workhorse team. They work hard. They try and press. They try and make you uncomfortable. And that's what they did for large periods of the game until, like you said, they run out of steam. But while they're in their full motion, this is when they win games. And this is when they have like Ivan Toney, who puts the ball in the net maybe more than once, which means that they can afford to drop off at the end of the game because they've already scored twice. Whereas now they're scoring once. They've got Wissa, not a prolific goal scorer, works hard for the team, not prolific. And Mbeumo, another one, works hard for the team, not prolific. They don't have someone that's going to get them 15 league goals, 10 to 15 league goals. And I think that's what they're missing. They're missing a killer. And their midfield doesn't really chip in with goals either. So it's normally like a set piece, defender knocking it in, a long throw on from a corner or something. Or their strikers. Their midfield doesn't really chip in, so it's a bit of a hard one for them. They run out of steam, and then you know how it goes at Old Trafford. When it gets to that injury time, anything can happen. Fergie time comes, it can get. Yeah,
I definitely hear it. I think even like keeping the ball up the field when your defenders are tired or your midfielders are tired, you get to a point where you want your strikers to keep the ball up the field as long as they can. And Ivan Toney is doing that. He's keeping that. You know, them strikers, then you take them off and then it's that you stretch them with a bit of pace and whatnot. So I definitely feel like that's a big loss. And the way reports are going is he might not even be there post-January. So let's see what happens. They're definitely going to have to bring somebody in that just holds the ball.
Ten Hag, obviously just touched on it. He obviously they won the game. Great substitution, can't knock it. Like he brought on McTominay, he threw him up front more or less and said just cause an issue up top, and that's what he did. He done more than cause an issue. He won them the game. 2 goals off the bench. Has to be regarded as a great sub. Great. It's half tactical, half doing what everyone knows and just throwing the ball into the box with some height at the end of the game.
Like Mr. Y now, you know.
I mean, no, the substitution was tactical. As for it being a tactic, I think it's just a forgiven thing. Like that, you throw your big man on at the end of a game if you're chasing it. You lump the ball forward, hope for knockdowns, hope for anything, and fortunately they got 2. Like he got 2 in both an injury time. So
Max Sauce.
You can't really complain, to be fair. Like he done what he needed to do, but if he thinks that that's what, like that'll be the end of it, like they're gonna come back, they're gonna get their defenders back and play the same way, he's getting for a long season. The squad is not good enough to compete in all competitions, and we've seen that already. Like they've already got 2 losses in the Champions League. For them to qualify out of that group, well, they're definitely going to have to beat Copenhagen twice, and they're going to have to pick up 3 points from Galatasaray and a draw probably against Bayern Munich to get out of the group.
I'm gonna ask you a question. So you're Ten Hag now, and you're like, okay, is coming out the Champions League as a manager right now, take away Man United, come out Champions League and kind of like being able to
in the group stage.
No, it's embarrassing for United. Obviously, it's embarrassing, but do you think that would almost help them like push on in the league, or do you think it's kind of it's obviously embarrassing? I'm just trying to play devil's advocate, and I don't even know what question I'm kind of asking, but it's like, you know, if you're a team,
it means their players they're fresher in it. They got more.
Yeah. So if it was Newcastle, example,
they go out completely, not into Europa League either. So if
it's embarrassing. Yeah, but say like if Newcastle
they finish bottom of their group, and then they go out completely, then obviously they're going to have fresher legs. They got 1 game a week until the FA Cup starts, so who knows how long they're going to be in that. But they got 1 game a week. You have fresher legs.
But could you see them fighting being okay? So say it was out because they're not in the competition. They finished bottom. They didn't get Europa League. Could you see their squad being strong enough in today's? I know we're only 9 games in, 8 games in, 9 games in. So would you see their squad being enough to compete?
Their squad has shown what they can do. In terms of a style of play, they don't have one. It's easy to play against them. They have one big route. Obviously, playing at Old Trafford might be a bit harder, but teams have gone there now and beaten them. Teams are going there, not fearful, not changing their game, not sitting back. They're going there and playing because they can. And they've got one major outlet in Rashford, and he's on and off. So you never know what you're going to get from him. He might hit his purple patch at some time, or he might just have another shit season. You never know.
Okay.
They're still missing Sancho. I don't think it's a blessing for them because I feel like their players need to play. They need some rhythm. They need more games. So Ten Hag can get them in a way of playing. They need to play more games and they need to win games so they feel confident enough to play whatever way he's asking.
Good point.
But in terms of injuries and stuff, which they suffered a lot with, then maybe. But as a Man United fan, it's a bit mad to go finish bottom of a group with Copenhagen in your group.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. I mean, it's embarrassing. I'm just thinking if it was like Newcastle or West Ham or someone in the Champions League, we'd be saying, okay, cool. I know it's Man United, so I'm not talking about calibers, it's different, but we might be saying, look at Newcastle differently and saying like, oh, it might be better if they was not in that.
Yeah, it might be better for their league form. It may be better for their league form, but it's also detrimental, obviously, to like the mental side of the game. Like players, they're obviously going to get absolutely slaughtered if they get out and they finish bottom of that group. They'll get absolutely slaughtered. They're already getting slaughtered.
So can you see them spending another like 60, 70 million in January?
Of course, because they're stupid. It's not the money. It's the type of players that they bring in is ridiculous. Like they went and spent 70 million on Casemiro, who's 30 when he was 30. Legs gone, gave him a 4 or 5 year contract at 30.
Yeah, he's not leaving.
He's not leaving. He's not going anywhere. But then there were DMs that were readily available this season. So you just wait. Or you spend it on, like, if you wanted Amrabat last year, who's also a DM, go and get Amrabat for £20 million. And then you save that £50 million and you go do something else with that. But you get two players. Like, there's players out there that can do these jobs. And I just think it's been really poor recruitment. They're struggling, obviously, to shift players out the club, which, as an Arsenal fan, I know that we've struggled with that previously. But the way we did it was just, cancel contract. And I don't think that's always the right way to do it, because, like, it's a business, isn't it? You need to be making some money. You need to be getting some returning. So I do understand why they didn't do it, but sometimes it's not better for the like long-term process. Like, they've got Harry Maguire there, who's a decent player. Obviously, sometimes, well, more time than not, he's a meme. But in other teams, he's not the worst player. But they tried to ship him. They couldn't get rid of him. They couldn't get rid of
great at West Ham, you know. Could have been a great signing for West Ham.
100%, because they defend deep and they had every ball. And they attack set pieces from Ward-Prowse. He would have been like, that would have been his role.
That's
but,
true.
I think what we're saying is that what's going to happen is the players are sitting there thinking, I'm going to outlast this manager. So why am I leaving? I'm on my big bread. The manager's shit. The team's playing shit. He will get fired soon.
Yeah, we had a conversation again, right? If you're Sancho, you just say, I'm just going to wait for the next. I think Sport just said, I'm just going to sit there and wait. I'll wait for the next manager, because you're not going to be here that long anyway.
The only thing that I don't know if it goes against that point is the fact that he's been able to spend like 90 million on Anthony, for example. I don't think clubs give you that amount of money, the amount of money he's able to spend, and then fire you. Because a new manager will come in and have to use these shit players that you just bought.
And that will be their excuse for a whole season.
Yeah, so for me, it's, you've got to make this shit work, and you've got to make that shit work now. Yeah, they won the game. If we're just talking about the game, they won the game. Not convincingly, but they won it. So we'll see what they do after the international break. I know they've got City coming up not too far after, maybe the second game after it. If there's anything to go off what Pep said after the Arsenal game, is that he's making his team come back for vengeance on everyone else, and I'm so happy it won't be against us.
I know, right? And then it's gonna be, when it comes against Klopp, it's gonna be, can't wait for that.
Yeah, I think he's a ticking time bomb right now, Ten Hag. But I'm happy for him to still be at the helm.
It's crazy, isn't it? Like, the last 3-4 managers they've had, everyone's just been like, yeah, no, keep him, don't get rid of him. That's when you know it's embarrassing.
Forget about that, man. Keep him. We need him there.
All right, cool. All right, well, we'll end on that topic and move to the next one. Arsenal break the curse of Man City as they go joint top. I guess I'll let you start with this one.
You know what? There was a lot of nerves, and the fan base was nervous. Our football group chat was nervous. Our Arsenal group chat was nervous.
Yeah, I say it's not our group chat; it's their Arsenal
group chat was nervous. Mr. Y was shooting me down with everything. Every time there was a positive, he was like, "Nah, but this, nah, but that." And and I was sitting there just thinking, you know what? Let's just see. Let's just watch and see what happens, because anything can happen. But yeah, the build-up was crazy. Obviously, we didn't know if Saka was going to be in the team. Martinelli was going to be in the team. Partey is roaming. So many different injuries occurring.
Well, can I just stop you there and I'll say one thing quickly, because I know, I saw you tweet this as well. So this is why I wanted to bring this up. Saka injured is what we've been told. Then he gets called up to the England team, and then I remember your tweet, which was, if he's injured, there's no way he should be playing for England. And then you see he's on the bench. You see he's not fit enough to play.
And then you call him up.
What was your reaction? Like that's
obviously they done the call up before the game, and obviously you do the call up. You hope that he's fit. But for me, he has a game. If he's not fit enough to play for Arsenal, he's not fit enough to go away and play for England. Because we're the ones that pay his bills. So if you can't play for us, you can't go away and play for England right now. It's not a World Cup. You can take the rest. Like they're not playing Brazil. They're not playing Spain. Like he can relax. And it's a hamstring injury. It's not like a knock. It's an injury that if you keep playing on it, it's going to get worse if it hasn't fully recovered yet. And obviously Saka never gets injured. So that's one indication that if he's missing for Arsenal, he's seriously injured. He's played the most games consecutively for Arsenal ever. He's like, so I don't really understand like the notion of it. Like they called him up today. He actually went today. I don't know if you know, but he went to England camp today. He reported for duty, and their own medical team assessed him. So it's like, what? Do you not trust the Arsenal medical team?
Well, we had similar things with England as well. So that's funny you say that. And I remember even like Klopp, they used to be like, no, I won't make this game. You know, it's a good run. There's a run going on. It's just a friendly, and then managers used to always get onto Klopp for that. And then I even remember Ryan Gravenberch, you know, he turned down the opportunity to play the friendly to get more familiar with his Liverpool teammates and stuff like that. And I thought that was quite cool, friendly. And they was like, how dare you do that? You know, it's an international. But I'm just like, it's a friendly, bro. I'll be reporting for duty. Like I just moved. I wanted to do the right thing. So, and look at going into Saka, like you said, like it's a big. I agree with you. If he's not even on the bench, he's
like we know how Arteta rinses Saka, innit? That Don plays every single game, every minute of every game. He'll get kicked 6-7 times. No matter, he ain't coming off unless he's dying and he can't walk no more. He ain't coming off. Even then, man will throw him on there with a wheelchair. So the fact that he wasn't, not only did he not play, he wasn't on the bench. He wasn't even available to do like a quick 15, 20 minutes. What makes you think that he's going to recover in time to play for England? And what makes you think that that's the right decision for him physically? Like it's a bit of a weird decision, but I'm glad obviously that he's fully out of it now. They assessed him and he's actually completely withdrawn. So for me, that's a great. He's going to need 2 weeks to get back into fitness, train with the team once he's back into fitness, and he'll be ready for us when we come back. We got Chelsea first game back after the international break, and we'll need him. We'll need him like we need everyone else. So yeah, I'm happy that he's not going to international duty. But
well, I did interrupt you there, but I'll take you can go back to your thoughts.
Yeah, injuries going into the game. Martinelli, half, Trossard, half, Saka out. Partey hasn't played for a month. Who else did we have out? I think that's all we had out. Saliba played with a toe injury that he had to take an injection for, and he's out.
Are we doing a David Hayes here?
Yeah, it was a bit peak. Like we had a few injuries. We had a few injuries, but we managed to get through it and put out a team that we thought was capable. Same as Man City, they have obviously Rodri suspended, John Stones just coming back from injury, they have De Bruyne out long term. So I think all in all, it was quite an even test. Like had we have been able to start Martinelli and Saka and Partey and then played against them and won that way, I still would have obviously taken the win, but it's more of like an expected.
I think something you said to me right before this pod when we spoke, and we were talking about like I said, nah, it was a good time to play City. Like it's not a free hit, but it's a good time. He was like, but it's a good time to play Arsenal too. And I heard that. I was like, yeah, you know what, you're right. It was a good time. Your two hitters.
Our two hitters, that's what I mean. Our top goal scorer from last year, Martinelli, and then our star boy Saka, both out. Both not starting the game. Then we have our defensive maestro in Partey also not starting the game. And we're giving you and your great defense, Diaz, Ake, Garvino, all £90 million player, Kyle Walker. We're coming at you with Trossard, half-injured Trossard, Eddie Nketiah, and Jesus on the right. So it balances itself out. Yeah, you're missing the De Bruyne and stuff, but we're missing players too. After this, obviously seeing the lineups and stuff, I was pretty confident. I'm not gonna lie. I was
You was
saying to
confident
Mr.
from the lineup.
Yeah, from the lineup, it was more like, so I was talking to Mr. Y about, he's talking about athleticism and we ain't got the legs. Jorginho's in there. And I can understand his points. But I'm looking at their team, they have Kovacic. He ain't got too much legs either. He can move with the ball, but in terms of recoveries and stuff or bomb, he hasn't really got either. They started Rico Lewis in the middle next to him, which was
I thought that was great. When I saw the line, I was like,
it was a big call.
You know, Pep does that one thing. He's the best player.
Yeah, it was a big
and
call.
then he goes to another team. He's the best player that's ever had in midfield at his suit.
I didn't think he was bad though. You know, I just didn't.
No,
think
you know, Pep just that's his confidence. That's his protein
I
shake.
thought he was decent. Like, he didn't do anything wrong. It's just that he can't impact the game to do something great.
It's a big game. You're missing big.
So yeah, he's there and he's not doing anything wrong, but he's not impacting the game per se.
Yeah, the Kanji on the bench as well, and he could have. I would have. And he come out. I would have played like someone else in the midfield with the side.
The maddest thing about that whole thing was that he played Bernardo Silva as the DM, as like a double pivot with Kovacic.
Yeah, that was weird.
Well,
it's not the first time. It's not the first time he's done it.
Yeah, last time we played them last year at home, when we were at home, he played Bernardo Silva left back. So it's like he trusts Bernardo Silva so much that, and he's versatile. Obviously, he understands the game very well. That Pep feels like he can put him everywhere. And in terms of keeping the ball, he's very obviously pressure resistant. It makes sense. But in terms of being able to go the other way and understand when to go forward, when to not, to follow certain players, I don't think that was his best idea. And I think the midfield battle, we won simply because Declan Rice is two men. Like, literally, simply because Declan Rice covers so much ground and his tackling is outrageous. And just that alone, like, we can say that we had Jorginho who lacks athleticism, which is very true. But at the same time, Jorginho is the calmest on the ball. Obviously, he made the little blunder against Spurs a couple of weeks back and we paid for it. But in general, you know, he keeps the ball ticking. He's a seasoned vet. He plays the ball forward. He plays it sideways. He knows when to create the triangle and he calms the rest of the team down. And I think against that City midfield, it was a no-brainer to have him in there to calm our team down. And Arteta knows that against City, we can't keep giving the ball away needlessly. We have to keep the ball under pressure in transitions. So for him to start the game, he got an early yellow card as well, which didn't help. And I thought, oh, I don't know about that one. I think it just made sense. He was really, he just made sense in terms of how we wanted to play. Declan Rice covers for his athletic. Declan Rice covers for what we lose in the middle with Jorginho's running power. Declan Rice is two men in there.
I say this every time I watch you guys play, and I think Declan Rice is just.
And obviously, Zinchenko does the inverted and comes in and helps too. So I think it just made sense. Like, we actually went man for man with them. At some points, we're pressing so high up the pitch, they're like front line and their deepest midfielder coming to get it, that Edison done a few long balls to Haaland, and we're going man for man. We're going Saliba, Gabriel against Alvarez, Haaland, and Foden, and all that. Like, we're going man for man against their team and saying, okay, we're going to outdo you.
Yeah, it was brave. It was.
After we got a comment. Chini, was it an outstanding performance or a brilliant result, or both? And I had this massive, well, no argument, but it was a discussion as well in our Arsenal group chat about whether it's an outstanding performance or brilliant result. Obviously, it was definitely a brilliant result. We haven't beaten them in 12 occasions, so we needed to win. We needed to show that we can beat them in the league. We can beat the big, like we've beaten everyone else. We needed to show we can beat them. It was like a little hoodoo that Arteta couldn't break, and we broke it. Now, hopefully, the players believe that we can go away and do the same thing. We can beat them at home next year too. If we get them in the cup, we can beat them too. And I think more than the 3 points, it meant something to the players to know that they can go out against a treble-winning City and beat them. So it's a brilliant result. 1-0, 2-0, deflected goal, 50 passes and then pass it into the net goal. I don't care how it goes in, own goal. The result was brilliant. In terms of the performance, this was the arguing point, OJ, and I don't know if you want to argue your point here. So I'm saying that Arsenal's performance was outstanding, not because we played like prime Barcelona and outpassed everyone, but we played a super mature performance. Man City have the majority of
the adjectives out.
Man City have the majority of the ball, like 60, 70, 80% possession against teams. We had 50-50 possession with Man City. That kind of, to be that balanced is quite, like, teams beat them without it.
Do you think that had a part to play with the lineup? Like, we spoke about Rico Lewis, we spoke about
yeah, of course.
Like, Silva being in the DM role, somebody who's on the ball a lot. So
yeah, like, they weren't able to start their best team, and they weren't able to. Well, they were able to put other players, and that they didn't have to start Rico Lewis. They didn't have to start Bernardo Silva as a 6. They could have started Calvin Phillips. The same way we didn't have to start Jorginho, we could have done something else. And that's down to Pep. But we limited Manchester City to what they're good at. They're good at popping the ball, making teams just die slowly. That we didn't have that. Our intensity was right there from the very minute. We were calm on the ball after the first 20 when Raya was going a bit crazy.
Yeah, he was moving crazy. I got that.
Declan Rice was eating everything up. Even Zinchenko and Ben White at fullback. Defending, top quality. Haaland, XG. You know we don't really like to use the XG. 0 though. No goal threat. Saliba in that pocket.
You see Rice, yeah? Right, I like see. I'm originally a centre back, then moved to CDM and whatnot to 6, and I feel like, see the way he slide tackles, yeah. You know, some people slide tackle just to make sure you ain't going further with the ball. He does that, but he also does it to start play as well. So he slide tackles, wins the ball, gets up,
spin it, keep it, and then go forward with it.
Yeah, it's crazy,
and he doesn't give away the foul. That he's actually outrageous. But yeah, like,
physicality is huge, and I think you guys learned having Rice.
It's a misconception to say that we haven't played well because we haven't played Bob City prime Barcelona style. I think there's different ways to play well, and you have to put who you're playing in context. Like, before Barcelona were doing prime Barcelona, between Ajax doing what they did all them years ago and Barcelona doing that, what team was doing that every week? Like, what team is bopping it? So you're telling me that no one plays well unless they do that?
I think it's I hear you, because I think it's one. I think you guys had a good pro. I think outstanding is like, I hear it's come from a place of excitement. You know, it's new.
I'm trying to say, what more could we do to make it an outstanding performance? Against the best team in the world.
Physically, like, outstanding would have been. I hear you, because it doesn't necessarily mean the result doesn't really mean it's how you played, and I don't think it was like a total dominance. Like, City were dominated and handled. I think you guys played very well,
but they can't be dominated and handled. This is what, like, that would be a great feeling and a thing to watch. But you know that City will never, as long as Pep's in charge and they've got the players that they've got and they can replace this player with that player, they're never ever going to be dominated for a game.
As outstanding is like
in the last 2-3 years where they've been dominated.
I mean, you can have it. I had to. Outstanding is exceptionally good. So yes. By the definition, yes, I'll give you that.
Like, we stopped. Haaland had absolutely nothing. He did. I don't think he had a shot in the game. He had 0 XG. Alvarez, who's been, I think, their best player so far this season, nothing. Doku came on. Zinchenko gave him nothing. He went to the other side. Ben White gave him nothing.
Nah, it was out. I give it outstanding. By what the term is,
nothing. And not only did we give them nothing, but we gave them nothing with some of our injuries too. Like, we're playing Eddie up front. like who's not like he's playing against Ruben Diaz, who's meant to be one of the best centre backs in the world. You've got Ake in there, who's a proven Premier League centre back, and you've got your big Garvio that you just bought for how much? How much money?
I hear it.
Right back in the world.
I think you've got that argument. I think you've won that. I think personally, that's a good argument. You've won
So
that.
for me, like, I don't really understand what more you want. It was a tactical masterclass. We not only limited them, but we played our game. More passes, more touches, more passes in the touches in the final third, more shots.
You guys are in your moment right now.
What more do
I've
you
been
want?
there a few times, so I hear it.
The game plan was stay in the game. If it gets to that 60th minute, 65th minute, bruv, let's see what we can do now in it, because we're in the game now. Let's see if we can win it.
It was
Martin obviously came on at half time because Trossard was injured, and then we brought on Havertz, Partey, and Tomiyasu, and we won the game.
No, I give it to you. I think the first 20 minutes or so, where they could have been 1-0 up, maybe 2, if because your goalkeeper looked very, very shaky. But I get it. It's a big game. It's bigger expectations than what he's used to. And I think you guys played well. I think you guys showed. I personally feel like, if I want to be totally honest, you showed more of why you could be champions in that game than you did all last season, personally, because this is a game where I feel like it makes the difference. I feel like, when someone goes, it doesn't matter how you win, as long as you win. I kind of hate that statement, because it does. I watch how you play, and I think you guys played well enough against, like you said, treble winners. And I feel like that shows, with players out, was able to still match their intensity and outplay them, which then made me feel like, okay, I took you. This is when I said, okay, if you guys did this last year, I take you more serious from this result than I did last season. Because last season it was just, okay, you're racking up some results, but when it comes to games like this, are you going to win them? I didn't think you'd win any of these games. This game is a huge statement to where you guys stand in the Premier League, and that I start to see, maybe they can actually show. I know it's still early, but this game showed a lot more character than I've ever seen you guys have shown.
It was so mature. Like, it was such a mature performance, like level-headed, calm, composed. Like, they made the game look like we understood how to play what Arteta wanted to play. It wasn't like, at home, we tend to let in goals, the fans get the players going, and sometimes it's too much. Like Anfield, when the fans get your players going, they can overwhelm. You can overwhelm any other team. Normally, when our fans get our players going, it's like we get overwhelmed by it, and then we start doing mad, sloppy stuff, conceding, just doing crazy stuff. But this time it was like we kept our heads, we executed the game plan, and I think Arteta's subs were all at the right time. He reacted to Pep making his changes. We got a bit of luck when Martinelli's shot gets deflected, but that's what you asked for sometimes.
Tottenham got an own goal last week, so
big games are separated like they're won on these little margins. It took that for us to win the game.
And so you just said there, it shows you how close you guys are in your development, because, like you said, it wasn't a game where goals and whatnot. The game was, you guys matched them so well that it had to be a moment. Just like if you go to their goal would have been a mistake as well, technically. So I hear it.
For me, where the two teams are the two best defensively built teams in terms of the way we set out to defend. It might not always be like
it's very similar though. That's why.
Yeah, it might not be like, I'm not saying we have the best defensive players.
Yeah, I hear you.
The structure that both managers set out their team make it that we just have the best two defensive units.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have the anomaly.
All four tacklers.
We have the anomalies that when we play bad, that when, like I said, when the fans kind of start riling us up and we react and we're trying to go 100 miles per hour at home and then we concede. Away, obviously, our away form is really good. We rarely concede goals, and we're just really good away from home. So we have the odd games like against Lens, obviously, where they done really well and they beat us. But other than that, I feel like it was just a game of tactical geniuses set out and done what they do, and then our players were able to fulfill whatever the manager wanted, and we just happened to win the game, which was obviously better for us. What I do like to say after that, though, even after the result, was that Martinelli, half injured, coming at half time, he is something else. And what Mr. Y said about having pace and explosive power in our team, yeah, I get even more now. Because I know we have it with Martinelli, but when he's not there, if we had a striker with that power and pace as well, two players in the team with that same power and pace,
You can see why we've been so successful.
Problem. Absolute problem. Which is why Nunes is always going to be a problem, regardless of his finishing 2 out of 2 chances, because he creates havoc. So someone like a Oshiman would kill at Arsenal. And exactly. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like Jesus out wide. Whether that's in rotation or what he does.
You'll definitely see a lot more of it. It's a lot of games, so you'll see Arteta forced to have to, ask players different jobs from different players.
I'm all for that. Obviously we done our usual thing where he throws Tommy on to lock up the game. They threw Doku on, and Arteta said, "Yeah, Tommy, get your boots on, bro. We're ready to go. Get them shinies on because I need you to lock men down." We've done that.
I agree with you guys.
Thomas Partey came back from injury, and he just like he never left. He doesn't. I don't know what injury. Well, he had a groin injury, but he come on and he's just spraying. He does the long, nice over the top ball for our goal. And Havertz up top. This is where he needs to be.
Oh yeah. Everything else in the middle.
Clinical finisher? No, he's not the most clinical finisher. But in terms of what he offers, in terms of hold-up play, link-up play, understanding the game, and just causing a problem for defenders, he can do that. I understand he's good at arriving onto the ball, which is kind of why you might want to see him at like a 10 or a centre mid position coming on. But other than that, I don't feel like he has the ability to affect the game where I need him to affect the game. So when he came on up top, I thought amazing. He showed why he can play there. It just made sense. But yeah, won the game, joint top with Spurs.
Imagine cheering with them.
Yeah, I know it's a bit mad, joint top with Spurs, but I'm not even too concerned. Anyway. Yeah, I'm not even too concerned about that still. But yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I agree with you that we can move on to the next topic. Okay.
You know what? It could have been worse. Let's just say it could have been worse because the first 20 minutes of the game, you lot didn't get started.
Bro, 20. I'm gonna say like 30, 35, bro.
You didn't get started. Brighton obviously went 1-0 up through another error leading to a goal. So it's not like they really worked for it. It was just another forced error.
If this
not even a forced error, just the
bro. All right. So even talking about that forced error, all right, McAllister mistake, cool. I can't keep defending Virgil no more, bro. Like for the pressing off, because if he tries to press on that, he's blocking it, or he's giving Alisson time to get back in position. Goalkeepers, they step forward or they step across, whatnot. And that's what annoyed me about it, is that like it's when Van Dijk makes a mistake, and it's not a mistake here, because I just feel like he should have pressed it, yeah. When he's not done that, and then he showed a replay like from every angle, and I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, why are you pulling? He's in his own box, and he's still stepping backwards. I guess a mistake, cool, but why are you still? You're so close to Alisson now, and you're still pressing back. Like you're still stepping back. You have to press that and try and force him to. That's what you naturally do. But I've always said, Van Dijk. I've always defended him honestly, and I've joked around saying, you don't have to still come on, Van Dijk, man. In those moments, that's where you need to show people, okay, you're not. He's not running at you like that. He's waiting for you to tell him what, determine what to do, and you've not shown him. You ain't even shown him to the other side. You've literally just said, have a shot. And Alisson just missed it. But Van Dijk attacks that, no problem. However, again, that's an issue. Again, you're putting people who are not used to getting the ball like that yes, he's a good player. McAllister's a good player and whatnot, but he's not used to getting the ball like that. And he's used to getting the ball off that player, and he's facing forward and he's in space. It's not his natural position. So again, I can only blame Klopp and Liverpool for these things. If he had a natural person who plays in there, usually receives the ball in there. And again, I'm surprised he didn't start Endo in there and Joe Gomez.
I just don't think he's good enough.
You know what's funny? He's not bad. I don't think he's
a bit of a panic buy because everyone obviously is screaming out for a 6 and you need midfielders to replace the midfielders that you lost. And I feel like it was a bit of a panic buy in terms of the quality that you'd replace what you lost. So it's like you just kind of got him, but he's a stopgap. He could be gone by next year because he's not a player that's fit for purpose.
Yeah, no, listen, I definitely agree with you. I feel, but he's natural at taking the ball there and he's not bad. He's not a rubbish player. He can tackle. He gets around. He's energetic. The mold-ish, if he was like 22, makes sense. But we don't really sign 30 and 31-year-olds. That's not how we do it. We go for a certain type of caliber, and that's why we were being told we're not signing like Kezes and all these Amrabats and whatnot, age and the builds and type. So for me, but I feel like all you can do is try and protect your defense. All you can do is try and put and we do. So that's why for me it's always been Joe Gomez over Trent. I thought Trent started horribly. I was made to eat my words because Gomez came on, he was even worse. But I do feel like Endo's used to taking the ball there. We don't have anybody naturally now that will take the ball there. It's usually just a bit of trickery that'll get him out. And you see,
you're missing. In terms of picking up the ball, obviously Thiago's been out for a while, and the way you're like setting up play, for me, Klopp's angling to the point of when Thiago's back, he's going to play that 6 role.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. There's no
else the ball, you're comfortable on the ball, you knock it back, he will turn. You know, his favorite move is the drop the shoulder,
leg up into he's definitely playing 6. He's definitely going to
press resistant, and it makes sense. It doesn't make sense in terms of if you have players running at you. But obviously, I assume Klopp's gambling on the fact that you're going to have the ball more times than not. So,
I mean, yeah, and you know, Thiago beside Fab was great. He does like to put a foot in. We've got a great leaping in for headers. He does add that calm. He can kick a ball out, not just to the player, but pick a ball out to a player in that space. I think he'll complement when Trent plays as well, because he tends to encourage Trent to push forward. And when he first came, we used to pass the ball to feet. He'd always pass the ball in space where Trent can have a hit, cross it first time, or takes a touch and do whatever he wants. You know, he's got time to think about it, because we all know if you give Trent too much time to think, there's too many. He thinks he's gonna assist like 10 players. Do you know what I mean? So that was my biggest thing. They were peppering us. We was being peppered, for ages. The physical battles in the middle was not working. I was surprised Gravenberch didn't start, because he's a lot more physical and he's like, you know, he's tall guy. He's a tall fellow as well.
Maybe he just hasn't gotten. Klopp doesn't think he's gotten used to the league yet. Obviously, he's still settling in and stuff, because I don't really see another reason as to why he wouldn't start. But
he starts in the he started the Europa League. And he's usually the first go-to. To be honest, I think that's going to be the middle three until Thiago comes back at some point. Elliott's injured now, so I think we'll see the Gravenberch, Slupska, and McAllister starting in the middle. I think that would be a good three, because they're all people that like to go energy, like to be on the ball. They can kind of interlink. I see Gravenberch and then play deeper until Thiago comes back. But yeah, we're getting peppered. I can't lie to you. And then a moment of brilliance.
Mo does what Mo does.
A moment of brilliance.
It was another error, actually. It was an error from Brighton for your first goal, where Dunk tried to play out and he's misplaced the pass, and then he's gone rushing out to then make amends. But as he's gone rushing out,
come at me, bro. It's just gonna be around
all the space behind him. And you lot were lining up to score. Salah lining.
Now the penalty for the second goal, that's a red. I'm not kind of a spoiled milk. It is what it is, but that's a red card.
I mean, you see,
it's an opportunity. Stopped a goal scoring opportunity on purpose, and it's practically an open goal. If you look at the angles, you just got to tap it in. It's a red card.
100%. VAR ain't doing what VAR is meant to do right now. Obviously, you lot, if they went down to 10 men, it's a different game.
Especially in that moment where we started to kick ball, and it was right before half time, and then we're going and whatnot. We started to play football. We started looking like Liverpool. So at that point, it's easy to say, oh, yeah, we could have whoever. Obviously, we've been out 10 men, I don't know. But we just got into the game at that point. We was 2-1 up, and that's a red card.
Right,
that's asking a lot of questions of Brighton.
It's last man. It's last man. It's definitely a red card. It's going to ask a lot of questions of Brighton, as you say, and it could go a lot different than it went. I don't really know how VAR are working. You lot obviously haven't been beneficiaries of it twice now, which is obviously it's a bit more annoying. But like you said, sometimes it goes with the decisions come around and go around, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm not going to cry with Sport Milk. Like, obviously, we'll talk on the pod and I'll say it's a red card. It should have been and why I think it should have been and whatnot. But again, I'm very much like the game's done. Obviously, we conceded a late goal again. We came off at halftime. We didn't look. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not really. I'm just like, how are we seeing all these issues and we didn't address it, and then we have to go through another few months without addressing it. We probably won't address it. To be fair, though, I do think we're gonna sign a 6 though. I know we see Thiago, but I can see us signing. We looked at that Andre kid. I think he plays in Brazil. I know we were looking about him, and they said they wouldn't let him go. They said they wouldn't let him go until January. So I'm hoping that's a nice little 25 million. We signed somebody, or I don't know.
It's understandable, but if you're gonna buy a 6 and you're gonna play one that's gonna play, then you gotta sign a proper 6. Like you gotta sign it. You gotta go out there and get a player.
I don't think we're gonna sign a. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think we're gonna sign a 6 like that though. This man obviously English, isn't it? So he's gonna need a while to
yeah, that's what I mean. You don't know if these little players that you're gonna have to bed in and introduce to the league and they're gonna settle. And I don't really know if that's the best way to go down right now. I understand it because I've been there with my team, so I understand that sometimes you can't go out and buy the best number 6 or one of the top 5 number 6s in the world. But there are players out there that will be available. Whether they'll be available for your club depends on what position you're in January, what position you're in. Whether you're high up the table, whether you're looking like you're going to be in the champs, whether you're challenging, that will decide whether other big players look at your project and club and think, yeah, I want to go join them. So there's players like Kimmich, who has been soundly available, like actively available apparently, who could do who's a 6'8". So there's players, but it all has to make sense. And right now, I can't think of too many 6s that make sense. One thing that I can say is making sense right now for you lot is Mo Salah.
You know what? I'm so glad Mo Salah was able to, because you know one of the biggest arguments that people was having was like his responsibility is different to a normal winger. This is why he's scoring so much goals and whatnot. But you know, if you I check his goals and assists, they've always been quite high. But he's been allowed to be like a selfish striker, attacker. He's a winger, isn't it? But we call him a striker. Yeah. So when he's not scoring, or if he doesn't even play good, he's getting an assist or something. Like he'll play all full game, get a goal, get an assist. Salah was one of our best players on the pitch. Even if you go back to the game, half time, just after, Gravenberch misses with his left foot, which practically was an open goal and hits the crossbar. And then you've got is it Pedro missing the whole goal right before half time. So there were moments. I think a draw was fair in the end. I know we can see that. I think a draw was fair. I think I went into Brighton game thinking we might lose.
So did I. I mean, a draw away to Brighton is not the worst result. It just hurts when you're 2-0 up. They should have got a match. Like when everything should have been going your way and it doesn't. That's when it's like, well, we should have had a little bit more from that. And you lot bad officiating to kind of fuck that up. But,
yeah, that's one of the issues. But I'll take a draw.
Yeah, you take it and move. You didn't lose. You go into national break. Players get some The players that are not going get to train. And hopefully, you don't come back with no injuries, and that's how you move. But when we're talking about officiating, yeah, because I forgot to even touch on it. When we're talking about the Arsenal game and the Kovacic tackle.
Oh yeah.
So obviously, we've seen in the past week, we saw the Curtis Jones tackle, which was given as a red card. We've seen what other challenges have we seen? Like we've seen these challenges that some of them are half yellows, half reds, full reds. And we debated the other day about the Curtis Jones. We debated about the Curtis Jones tackle. Either way, the conclusion was he got a red card after looking at the VAR. Arsenal game came, and Kovacic is so late on Odegaard. He studs up on Odegaard's ankle, could have broke the ankle, and nothing. Well, yellow card. The ref stops play. VAR checking. I don't know what the hell they're checking because they can clearly see it. I'd love for the audio. The audio needs to be released whenever they're talking. We need to hear that. As a TV viewer, when they're talking, we need to hear what the refs are saying because it's hard to go based off. The commentators are wondering. The commentators are like, "Oh, that's a bad one. He should get sent off." We're watching it. Everyone else can see it, but we can't understand what the referees see. And they're not trying to explain it. They don't have to do interviews after the game, and we can't hear what they're saying. Why? If it's not like a hidden agenda, and there is no agenda, and they're doing their job properly, we should be able to understand what's going on. If it's not even just to hide that, even if it's just to educate people watching of why this would be a fair tackle, why this would be a yellow card, to educate potential footballers.
Another one. Same thing with Bruno.
Yeah. So it's like we're not understanding how that goes. And then he doesn't get the red for it. In fact, VAR decide that it's not a red card. Not only did that, but the referee doesn't even go and check it himself on the ball.
Do you know what my annoying thing is? And I saw Paul Merson do it the other day, and I was totally agreeing. I like the way he challenged it, obviously without the shouting and whatnot, because you got to become collective. Now, we're at a point now where they would say, "This is the rules. That's why." We used to be like, oh, "Okay." Now we're at a point they're saying this is the rules, and we're like, "Is it though?" Like, and then is it? Because yesterday you said the opposite thing for this game, and then this game you said the opposite. You said something completely different for this game, and then you guys are now talking. Now it's like I'm going to use more difficult and technical words. So you have to read this like 10 times to understand, and you might not still understand it. But we're just going to say basically we're going to put out a paragraph. Not the HR stunts. Like put out a paragraph. No one really understands what it meant. We're trying to break down and understand what we think it means.
You don't understand the rules. The rules. Man's talking like he's about Merson. You're talking like you're about to send someone to jail. Like the rules. These are the rules. But guess what? We all understand the game. You can see that is not the right decision. So change the decision. Like forget what the rules say. No one's gonna fire you for making the right decision just because the rules said don't stop it after. You know what the right decision is. Make the right decision, and that rule should be changed. How about you make sure that rule gets changed because clearly it's not right. So that made no sense.
Once was they do Zoom calls and there's training going on, a lot of training and whatnot, and blah 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 blah. But I'm sitting there thinking, I talk about my team. We went 2 seasons with City where a game was the difference. If you remember the game when we played City and they called offside when he wasn't offside, that was before VAR. VAR would have brought that back and done that, and that would have been a positive. But that's been a difference. There was another game we played where VAR messed us, where there was the call was wrong, and then we went on and went lost it by a point or something like that. So my thing is like, it's all good, it's all fancy to say the big words, and this was something whatnot, an intent and blah blah blah. But when you're saying like 7 minutes, whatnot, bro, you're being cheap. Go and get the stuff from the World Cup and go and pay the money and let it be what it needs to be.
They don't want to put refs out of job. They're England as a culture, Britain as a culture, they feel like they need to be empowered. They need to be in control of things. And they're allowing refs to be in control of some things that technology surpassed them. Why do I need you to be at home or in the studio drawing these lines when I have an automated system that you can just watch. You can monitor it in case it breaks down, in case something like crazy happens. But it does the job itself. It does not need you. So I don't really understand.
It's like, do you remember in August?
I don't even understand why it's an option. Like, why is it an option that you can't take this technology that makes our game better? Why should that be an option? In terms of the offside rule, that should not be an option. This is a more or less a foolproof system. So use it. Your one, you still have to draw the lines. You have to stop it at this point. No, bro, this one's a foolproof system. This is the system. Use it. It makes no sense that I need to do a man-made thing, like I need to hand do it when I can just let the computer do it and I can watch
it. I would say that it reminds me of August. You remember when August started like getting rid of their stuff because they just bought the machines and you could just do it yourself. And then they were like, wait, we don't need so much shops. We can just link with Sainsbury's and make life easier and save money. That's what they need to do, because I can't lie, it's frustrating. And it's not just my team. It's just like Kovacic should have been sent off.
Yeah, he should have been sent
off.
And then, okay, he didn't get the first one. The second,
and the referee just was like, what do you mean? No, it's a.
He's seen the game. He's seen this big game. He's seen this the first half. He's seen this Pep Guardiola. He's seen this Man City against Arsenal, and he's bottled it. He said, "You know what?"
Guy's name that said, "I saw the Chelsea did a game." Is it Mark Klein? Remember, he said he did it because of the game, the type of game, so he didn't make the call. He didn't want to ruin the game.
And he's seen the managers, and he's seen the feelings, and he's seen the first half, and he's bottled it because he's doesn't want to take away the opportunity from Man City. Basically, he doesn't want to put them at a lesser or a disadvantage. This is the same ref. Remember a couple weeks ago or last week I was talking about the Martinelli got sent off and he got 2 yellows at once. So without receiving the first one, he got 2 of them at the same time from the same referee for lesser challenges.
I'm trying to think. Do you remember? All right, so Tomiyasu's yellow card was card for the 8 seconds. Then right after the next game, it was like they counted like 30 seconds or something.
But Tomiyasu got sent off of that game. He got the yellow card for the long throw in, and he had the ball for less time than the rest of our players had it in their hands. And then, like 10 minutes later, he got the yellow card he got sent off. Second yellow card for dragging someone back, which he didn't even do. So it's like, I don't understand why Kovacic can hit someone's ankle twice and still be on the pitch. Like, they have the officials in there. He's watching the game. And I think he just really bottled the decision. And it was weird because as an Arsenal fan, I was watching it. And at the time, I was like, yeah, he needs to go. Like, I wanted him sent off. I wanted to play against 10 men. But as it turned out, obviously, we won the game. And I was kind of happy that he did stay on and was able to beat 11 men. So there is no excuse. There's no one talking. We went and beat your team, regardless of all these things that went against us, because that definitely went against us. And sometimes a man getting sent off, like, as you know, as Liverpool, you lot played better against Tottenham when you went down to 10.
True.
So that could have galvanized City and they could have went and done something else. So I was quite happy that afterwards that he did stay on, obviously, because our players weren't injured either and were able to go and win the game.
I definitely, there's definitely an issue going on, but I guess we just got to deal with the training and whatever they got going on. I don't say get rid of it. It's just
I don't really understand why they're so against former players going in and helping, because when you play the game, you understand it a bit differently than when you just.
And how can any more assistance, like, not help?
Yeah, so for me, it just makes sense to do the player thing, but refs are like on the field feds, bro. They just like that power and control where they can do whatever they want, and that's what they're gonna do.
Perfect example.
Until they're told that they can't, or until someone else stops it, they're gonna do the on the field feds, bro. So free up the guys, free up the teams, free up the players, because what else can we do about it?
No, I agree. I think that's a perfect place to leave it there.
Yeah, man.
again, just want to say thank you to everyone who's following, who's watching, comments, like, subscribe, you know, make sure you're commenting, sharing. Feel free to rewatch, because I always check the comments of like older videos as well and see if there's anything people say, oh, I did, because I like to bring those back into next conversations. Yeah, we're on, like I said, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. And again, thank you for following. Thank you to Chinny. Anything you want to say to the guys?
No, just make sure that you're subscribing. Obviously, we're bringing out content quite often, 2 times a week, sometimes 3. We jump on other podcasts, and if you follow our Twitter, we'll always let you guys know when we're on something. But yeah, just subscribe, turn your notifications, let us share our views with you. Hopefully you can share your views with us, and we can just get the show popping. I like to interact, so yeah, follow us on everything.
Well, all right, so we'll see you guys soon.
Peace.